But for some weird reason, I felt an urge to do it where it's not just for myself. Oops. Where like to film it. You know, it could still be just for myself, but to film. So, I've never done this before, so, you know, since it's not just for myself, I got to. Put this stuff where it belongs. It smells so good. Let's just cleanse. Ooh. Okay. So I don't know what the reading is going to be about because I don't know why I felt the urge to film it. I don't know where this deck is from or what kind of deck this is. I just got it as a gift. Before I continue, I'm going to pull out another deck. Just in case I needed one. Okay. Ace of Wands. Okay. Page of Wands. Ooh. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. You got new opportunities, and we've also got Page of Wands is also, pages are usually also messengers, or it could also be a new opportunity as well. Usually messengers. So. It's got feminine energy too. The page is feminine. Wands is fire energy, and it's also for passion. Could be a passion, could be arts, could be something creative, or it could be a passionate offer, it could be, you know, we'll see. King of Swords. Ooh, okay. Okay, so no more cards from this. I'm gonna grab this. I don't know why I'm being guided to do so, so I will do what I'm being told. Again, this reading, I'm doing it for myself, but I got the urge to do a reading, so to film it. So it could be relevant and it could not be relevant. We're all a collective. Nobody really is on one frequency alone. We share experiences. We share collective frequency. So I am part of a collective. You seeing this, if this pops up on your page, there is a chance you are also part of that collective. You know, so. Either listen to what I have to say, because there might be a message up here for you, whatever it is, any word that I could say could be a message, or you could just look at the pictures and see if they say something to you, you know? You could be a reader yourself too. You might not be. You might be somebody aspiring to be a reader. For all students, this is just a language. One of the many languages of the subconscious. So. Queen of Wands. Okay. Lots of Wands. Lots of passion. And like Ace, Page, Queen, you know, it's like one that is the first card in the Wands And then you have Page, which is like, you know, small, but it's... Okay, so I just want to say something. While I was in the midst of this, I heard the song I Don't Want It That Way, so by Backstreet Boys. So listen to that song. It might be a message for you. Everything is a message. Sometimes there are messages that we just don't want to listen to right now in that moment. But everything is the message, but also not everything has to have meaning, you know? Like, it's not that serious, but it also is. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways, so we've got the Ace and we went all the way to the Wands. So lots of passion. Queen of Wands. It's also, I love the Queen of Wands because she's got a sunflower here too, and there's this black cat. I love the black cat. And look, like the Queen is not looking straight ahead. She's looking, you know, far, probably, envision, like looking at the vision. But then you have the cat. The black cat is like staring at you. It's like, you know how cats be. Reminds me of my cat. Could be somebody who has a cat. Okay, so we got the King of Swords. Okay, is there anything else you want to cut? Six of Swords, okay. I should have left this open because I'm gonna have to grab some stuff from there. Okay, anything else? Ooh, it just came out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere. Anything else wants to come? Nine of Wands. Knight of Wands. Again, Wands. And look how they're facing each other. Like, Death is going that way. And the Knight of Wands is facing it. On this side, or on this one, they're all looking towards that, to the right. Over here you have like, you have Death and Knight of Wands. Like the Knight of Wands is kind of facing Death. And the thing about the Knight energy, it's usually very impulsive. Wands is also about action. Wands are action oriented. Think of it as like, if you're into astrology, think of it as the fire element in astrology. They're very action oriented, very passionate, very creative, very youthful energy in its essence, very confident, which you would see it. And then you want to think of it as the evolution of it, right? A page or a knight is not as confident as a queen or a king, right? But also a queen and a king, when you have that, when you possess that much power, you could also be in the shadow side, very cocky, for example, instead of being, or an abuse of power. It doesn't necessarily always have to be, you know, positive or negative. That's why what matters is understanding the context of any situation. And we have the Chariot. For me, reversals, sometimes I take reversals, sometimes I don't, because I think it really depends on the whole reading, whether or not you're going to look at reversals. And because I don't necessarily look that a card is upside, that it's not the shadow. A card can be in its shadow state even if it's not upside down, even if it's not in reversal, it could still have that energy. So this is why you just want to look at the whole thing, at the whole story, not just about the card. So in some places I would take reversals, in some other places I wouldn't. Now, another very interesting thing about this reading, first of all, very interesting thing is that you can see that both of them end with a similar not necessarily the same, because here the Queen of Wands is sitting, the Chariot is actually moving, and it is about speed, right? But they're kind of similar in at least the imagery. Like, she's sitting, he's sitting. The difference is he's looking forward, she is looking ahead. He's looking forward to like the next step he's going to take. She's looking ahead, right? He's only got the black one. There's no white. There's black and white here. And the lion's on her seat. There's a lot of movement in this reading. There's Knight of Wands. The Death is on a horse. I mean, death usually is about transformation. It's about the death of something. It could be death of old structures, death of old patterns, death of old way of thinking. And it's really interesting that it comes right after the Six of Swords, which also speaks about moving to calmer waters, leaving, you know, you're moving to calmer waters, but also taking the swords with you. Death could be that the swords, whatever you were taking with you, is no longer needed. So it just transforms that completely. That could be it. Also, you see the death is, that's it, we're moving on, but then you see Knight of Wands going in that direction of death. So it could be like trying to step back, because the Knight of Wands is very impulsive. But then you have the Chariot, and the Chariot is moving forward, it doesn't go back. Like, it's giving me like there was a transformational thing that happened. Something transformed, went to calmer waters, and then we transformed something died, an old pattern died, but there was this impulsive energy to go back to that old pattern. But then we successfully get to the Chariot that moves forward, and it moves very quickly forward. It's no longer looking back. It's not looking to its side, and it's not looking to its future. It's just looking forward to the next step that it's about to take. Okay, let me look more into each of these cards. And I've got the Six of Cups at the bottom of this deck, and I've got the Two of Wands, again, Wands, at the bottom of this deck. Wands, so many wands in this reading, it's amazing. Okay, Six of Cups, interesting. Which is actually very interesting, because like here there is this tug of war, you know, between the past, between moving on after the death and retreating back to the old ways. And over here you can also see it at the top row. You can also see that it was the King of Swords energy, which is a very stern energy. The King of Swords is kind of mean, but it's not mean necessarily in a way just to be mean. It could be, depending on other, you know, depending on the whole context. But in this scenario, it's an energy of being relying on logic. It's a very logical card. So you can see what we can see here with the passion energy of wands, which usually are very passionate, but can also, if not controlled, become impulsive. Because right after the page comes the knight. The knight is impulsive, right? But then instead of getting the knight after the page of wands, you get the King of Swords, which it's like an intervention. You can think of it an intervention that made you skip all of those in between before you get to the queen, which would be the knight in this case. There isn't much between the king. It is literally taking in the space of the knight, which came down here, because in the deck what you have is Page of Wands. And it's funny because the Queen of Wands was from a different deck. It's not from the same deck. So usually you would have Page of Wands, Knight of Wands, Queen of Wands, and then you go to the King. But over here you have Page of Wands. We skipped the Knight of Wands completely, and we have the King of Swords It's like an intervention that got us to the Queen of Wands. So it could have been you've gone on a journey, and that could have been a very self-improving journey, where this intervention, which could be your own logical mental intervention, it could be your own higher self, it could be a divine intervention, whichever way you want to look at it. I know people look at divine interventions in the deck only in like what's it called, the Wheel of Fortune or major arcana, but that's not always true. It's all about, you know, what you see. So this and the way the sword is in this specific deck, it literally looks like it crossed in between. It was like, yeah, we're not gonna have this impulsive energy of the night. And it's funny because over on underneath on this row, you have the night come out at the same exact spot, which I find very interesting. But at the same exact spot where it would have been here, it came out here, but it was interrupted here. There was an intervention that made you go to the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is looking ahead. The Queen of Wands is not impulsive. The Queen of Wands is full of confidence. She knows her power. She is passionate, but she doesn't need to be impulsive about it. She's sitting in her throne. She is not in a rush to get to the other place. And then you have right after that the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords, and we get the Six of Cups here. I just want to mention that we have 2 6, and you know that might be significant. And 6 plus 6 is 12, which would also be 3. 12 is 3. Could be for someone. I love looking at the numerology of everything. So it could be your life path, or somebody's life path could be 3. It could be any of the other numbers. It could be 7, it could be 4, it could be 6, whichever. And then over here we have the Six of Swords, right? Also, it stopped again, and the song that I heard was "What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger." So, oops. Hopefully my bald head did not show up. So, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So, which I can see this, really. It shows that somebody who's been on a journey, you know, of self-discovery, and was really managed well. And there was some kind of intervention that helped you from actually going down a very, I would not say bad, but inefficient trip. And as I was saying, the Six of Swords is a card about moving ahead. It's a card about going to calmer waters. And it's usually taking the swords with you, taking that with you. So, skipping the Knight of Wands, that would have been impulsive. We got all the way to the Queen of Wands with the help of the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords could represent somebody in your life that's very logical, very stoic, that helped you reach to the Queen of Wands. It could have been a person who wasn't actually supportive necessarily. It could have been somebody who represented the Queen of Swords, who was mean, who actually hurt you, broke your heart, helped you go into your Queen of Wands energy. It could be a situation that happened, or it could be you, or it could be a divine intervention. Really think about it, how it works for your situation, because that's where it differs. And I don't know why I felt the need to say all of these things. So you could be somebody who likes to over-explain themselves, or it could be that there's multiple explanations, or there's multiple people watching this. Who knows? So Six of Swords, going to calmer waters, taking the swords with you, taking that mentality with you, and then you are forced, and then out of nowhere, there's a death. And death cards are scary to a lot of people. I always think of transformational energy is hard. The death card energy is not easy. It's very intense. The Plutonian energy, as somebody who has been experiencing Pluto since forever, it is not an easy transit. And right now, if you are somebody with Aquarius placements, which King of Swords, Swords is air placements. If you're somebody with Aquarius placements, right now, Pluto will be transiting. Right now, Pluto is like 1 to 3 degrees. I'm not sure. Pluto has been since 2024 and will continue to transit until 2043 in the sign of Pluto, sign of Aquarius, because Pluto is very, very, very slow. It's the slowest planet in the astrological, I don't know if it's in astrology, in the traditional planets that we have that moves this slow. So it's going to be in that sign for a while. So if you have your sun there, your sun is going to be challenged. And it doesn't get challenged in a way where it's necessarily here to, I call Pluto the bully. And it's a bully because it's got tough love, it does tough love. I don't call it a bully because it's here to hurt you. Pluto is, at the end of the day, an aspect of us. And when it comes to astrology, one way a lot of people speak on astrology, they say that astrology is just a reflection. Planets, our birth chart reflects us, not the other way around, right? It reflects us. So in essence, that would make Pluto a reflection of you, and its placement a reflection of you, right? So it's not a bully per se in the sense that it's here to hurt you, but it is the kind of that wants you to transform, and because it wants you to transform, it's going to push you to your limits, and that's where tough love comes, right? And Pluto does not like inauthenticity. It does not like when you fake to yourselves. It does not like anything in your life that's inauthentic. It's going to try to get rid of it. And the sun placement can be very vain regardless, because the sun is about shining. So when you have Pluto transiting it's going to force you to kind of look at your identity and be like, okay, what is true and what isn't, right? So you can see which house also Pluto is transiting. It depends which house in your birth chart you have Pluto. You can check that and it will tell you, you have Aquarius, and you can tell which house Pluto is transiting for the next 20 years, and that would be the house that will be most affected. If you have your moon there, your emotional world in Aquarius, your emotional world is going to be transiting for a long time, and it's going to be intense. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, but just like any transformation, you always come stronger on the other side. Okay, so you had a death moment of some sort. The bottom row is all about movement. So you went through this experience of finding yourself, finding your inner Queen of Wands, becoming this powerful you, and it was a journey. And you were supported to reach there, whether you were supported by something that was very hurtful or supported by something that's positive. Although seeing death over here, I do think this is more of an intense, especially how the queen over here, she looks like someone who's been through it. She doesn't look like someone who, just doesn't understand anything. If you look at her face and things like that, she looks like she's been through it. So I would think this is someone who actually went through it, right? Who actually went through a whole journey to get here, and to get from Ace of Wands to the Queen of Wands with just these three, was just the Page of Wands and the King of Swords. That's a very hard journey because it's fast, right? But it's very, very intense. So I would assume you went on a very intense personal journey, and you've got some intervention here that helped cut through that passion that could be very impulsive sometimes. It's good, but it could be very impulsive. And you moved on to calmer waters, and then you had this transformation, and you let go of old ways. And that's where the Knight of Wands came about, trying to kind of go back to the impulsive ways, right? Because it wasn't here. Where is it going to come up? It's like, oh, we gotta go back to the impulsive ways. But because you're already in your Queen of Wands energy, it's a lot easier for you to control the Knight of Wands. And this is just also to tell you, to kind of bring to your attention that just because we like learned how to overcome something, and in this essence, it was, in this situation, it was done with the help of the logic. Just because we can do so doesn't mean that that negative pattern is never going to show up again. I mean, yes, we have death, right? So it did try to show up again, but death blocked it. Death here is blocking it. It blocked it. It cannot go back. And if you look at I'm not sure if I'm seeing this correctly, but I do think the white horse in this, I don't know how you see it on there, is, I think the horse has like red eyes. You know? I don't know. Anyways, so it's blocked. Now you know how to deal with it because you went through this journey. The Knight of Wands will come up and will try to be impulsive. That impulsive energy will come up because you are a very passionate person. Obviously, you're the Queen of Wands. You've got so much passion. You literally only have Wands and Swords here. So you're a very passionate person. I do expect from you to want to have that impulsive, like, you know. But since you've been through this, since you went through this, you already have the death. You've already been through the death. This impulsive energy does not control you anymore. You know how to stop it, and then you stop it and you go back to the Chariot where it's moving forward. It is fast and it knows where it's going. So I might get some more cards just to try to understand what are you moving forward towards. I do think right now you might be focused on a specific goal and you're speeding towards it, which to me would tell me that you might get there soon. At the end of the day, nothing is guaranteed. What's important is that you do what you feel like doing, or what you are urged to do, but the outcome cannot be controlled because you don't know what's best for you. You know, we always think that we do know. We don't know what's best for us. So, oh, look at that. I was just about to cut the deck, and I got the Wheel of Fortune. So, yeah. So, okay. Everything is in divine timing. Anyways, so let me see. I might get a card just to see what this is about, what the Chariot is about. Let me see if I should use this deck or some other deck. It feels to me like you're manifesting something with the Chariot, which is a 7. I was going to say 7 of Wands for some reason, even though we don't have a 7 of Wands. That's weird. 7 of Wands, even though we don't have 7 of Wands. Okay. So with the Chariot, I feel like you're manifesting something. And you've been on a journey, and right now you are going forward. It's speedy, it's coming for you. You're going for it. And it's not like coming for you in the sense you are the one going towards it. You're like, okay, this is what we gotta do, and this is what we're gonna do. So let's see. What are we manifesting with the Chariot? Ten of Wands. Oof. Now you see a 10 of Wands. Interesting. That's the end of suffering. That said, I've had it. What else? King of Cups. Ooh, are we manifesting love? Are we manifesting love? With the Three of Pentacles, I feel like this might be related to love. Maybe related to love. And it could be just becoming emotionally mature. more emotionally intelligent. The end of the burden. Let's say the end of the burden, right? Which apparently we do have some Wands burden over here in this. So the end of the burden and the coming of the King of Wands. Now this King of Wands, sorry, King of Cups. I don't know why I said King of Wands. So you're the Queen of Wands, so the coming of the King of Wands would be nice, right? Would be your counterpart. The thought of the King of Wands without thinking of the King of Wands. The Queen of this King of Cups could be either it could be you becoming emotionally, like letting go of this burden and becoming emotionally sufficient, intelligent, you know, compassionate to everyone around you. Or it could be, and I think this is more the situation, a divine counterpart, because I said King of Wands. That's what kind of more so gave me the idea, the end of the burden and the King of Cups. Now I do want to mention what kind of signs we see here. There's lots of wands, so fire signs, could be anywhere in the chart. Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. Air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. You know what, I know Libra is an air sign, but I feel like Libra is the least air sign of the air signs. I don't know. They do be living in their head, don't get me wrong, but I think that Venus quality makes them, I don't know. It's just a thought. Anyways, we do have some, I think Chariot is Cancer, is a Cancer sign. And we have King of Cups, which would also be water placement, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. So we've got some water, but it could also be just for feelings. I am seeing a lot of, also Death would be Scorpio. I'm seeing a lot of fire signs in here. There's a lot of fire energy in here. And this could be just Plutonian energy. It could be just literally the transit that's happening right now. It doesn't necessarily mean you have like Scorpio placements. It could also mean you might have let's put the King here because I do want to ask some questions about the King. Oop. Could be that you have like aspects to Pluto. You could have some Pluto aspects in your chart. Okay, so who is this King of Cups? Four of Pentacles. Okay, I'm not gonna bring this out, but like look what came up. The Chariot. The Chariot represents Cancer, and I've always felt some type of connection between Cancer and Sagittarius. I don't know what it is, even though they're water signs and people tell you that technically they are not related by any way. They're not. I mean, the only relation they have is that Capricorn is close to Sagittarius, and that is the opposite of Cancer, and the opposite of Sagittarius is Gemini, which is also close to Cancer. It could be the similarities that I feel, the connection that I feel could be because like when you're born very close to a sign, you might have other placements in it, not always, but your moon might be in that sign, not necessarily, but it's just possible. So it could be that I've met more Cancer placements that may have had, I don't know. I see, I don't know why I'm rambling this, but look, they have like the arrow, bow and arrow in here, so I just wanted to mention that. So you could be a Sagittarius. Even though this is the Chariot, you could be a Sagittarius. Anyway, so Four of Pentacles. Okay, here's this King of Cups. Seven of Wands, of Swords. See, I don't like these. What are we sneaking away from? 4 and 4, by the way. 7 and 7. Just wanted to mention that. This Seven of Swords is interesting because in the original deck, the Seven of Swords is usually carrying the 5 swords and looking back at the 2 that it couldn't take or it can't carry, or looking back at the, you know, where they're sneaking from, the camps. And this one is kind of carrying the 5 swords, kind of looking down, and it's like, you know how when we're praying to someone or when we are respecting someone, and it feels like it's doing it for this person, for the 4 of Pentacles. So I find that very interesting. And the 4 of Pentacles has its hands around, you know, up like that, facing that way, I think. And then we have like a crown. Is this a crown? Yeah, and it's wearing a crown. Crown, crown, crown. It's the same crown. Well, that is a king and that is a king. We got 2 kings in this, so. I just like to look at symbolism because I think which deck I use, everything means something. Now, the 4 of Pentacles usually means holding on, trying to possess, trying to control what you have, trying to hold it close. But in this one, we don't see that symbolism. We see, I mean, it does kind of like also feel like, oh, I'm looking at, like, it's like they're looking at what they own and they're like, ooh, all of that is mine. It's kind of the energy I get, like they're looking at the pentacles and like, I got all of this, and it's green, like the color of money and the color of pentacles, and it's like, oh my god, I got all of this kind of situation. So it's giving me more boastful than the regular 4 of. So it's kind of, I'm thinking this is getting what you want, because the 7 of Wands, swords, is giving you this, the 5 swords that I got. And 5 of Swords is winning, really. And you're like, oh my god. That could be you. I feel like it is. You're like, oh, I got everything I want. Even though 4 of Pents is more about trying to control it, this is the energy I'm getting from this. I got everything that I want. You're being given everything you want. You don't even have to take it. It's like you're being given it. And you're like not even paying attention to anything because you're like, you're looking at what you already have. Okay. This is a weird message. Again, this is just like not a specific question. This is just me wanting to do a reading. And that's what came up. So this is me like just chit-chatting with myself and the camera. So I want to ask if there's any advice. And remember, this came after the 10 of Wands. So this is the end of the burden. Okay. Do you have any advice for whoever this reading is for? Whoever this applies, do you have any advice? Nine of Wands. Who's that advice? An Ace of Cups. It's crazy because 2 aces, by the way. Wands. Again. What a surprise. Did we get any other 9s? I don't think so, no. we didn't. This would be the first 9. No. Oh, so crazy. You know what I think the advice for 9 is? 9 plus 1 equals 10, right? 9 plus 1 equals 10. And, okay, I think I got what the advice is. And this is very sweet. When you get to 10, you will get to your King of Cups. That's where we said that the Chariot was going to. It's going to your 10. Right? It's going to your 10 of Wands, which is the end of the burden. That's it. I've had enough. I am putting it down. Right? I'm putting this burden down. It's putting me down, whichever. I am just done. I'm carrying this luggage and I'm putting it down. I don't need it anymore. So that is your 10 of, that is where your Chariot is headed, towards the 10 of Wands. That is going to give you your King of Cups, because when you put it down, you are the King of Cups, or you're getting the King of Cups, whichever. But you are this, you've got everything right in front of you, you've got the crown, and you're being given both love and the sword. All that you want is just coming to you, and you don't even care because you're looking at what you have. And it's yours, it's not going anywhere. You've got it, right? It's yours now. And then the advice is, you are right now at the 9 of Wands. You are almost to your 10 of Wands. You're almost going to get there. All you need is to give yourself some love. Give yourself some compassion. And that love could be also give it to your community. Do some love offerings to yourself. Do things that you love, you enjoy loving. And know that the 10 of Wands is coming. Know that that luggage is meant to be put down. Know that you are going where you need to be going. And trust that you've been on a very, 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 very hard journey. I can feel the intensity of it. I am someone who has forever lived with intensity. So when I do intensity readings, they don't necessarily pull me down per se. So that's a good thing. I think this is somebody, this reading, if you resonate with it, is for someone who's very resilient, very strong. We've got lots of wands in here. We've got swords. We've got death. We've got queens. We've got the Queen of Wands. We've got kings. So it's somebody who is resilient, somebody who knows to keep going forward, regardless of anything, despite of anything they go through. And you are going to have your moment. You're going to get all that you deserve, and it's not going to go anywhere anymore. So right now, while you're in this energy, know that you're going, that's where you're going. So just do in the meantime. And it's not like you have to do this to get to your 10 of Wands. It's like your 10 of Wands is guaranteed at this moment because of everything that I'm seeing. Guaranteed in the sense that you've taken the steps that guarantee it. Not guaranteed as like, is there anything that's guaranteed? But you've taken the steps. But in the meantime, because it's very easy when you expect something to sit in a waiting energy, you don't need to be in a waiting energy, especially the 9. The 9 is like exhausted, the 9 of Wands. It is waiting. Like if you think of 9 of Wands as the one right before the 10. 9 usually stands for completion, but also during the 9, by the way, we just had a 9 year, which is 2025, and right now we are in our 2026, our 10 year, which is your 10 of Wands. So it could be that this is going to happen in the 2026. It could be you had your 9 year. Now offer yourself some compassion, some love. Enjoy this. This is also the universe offering you this love. It's going to come to you. And the King of Cups, you are going to have all that you need to have. So in the meantime, enjoy the love. Enjoy the love that you have. Do things that you love to fill the time where you are so worried about when am I gonna get it? When am I gonna get it? When am I gonna get it? I did everything. Why am I not getting it? Well, because it's a journey. You know, you did everything. You shed what you needed to shed. But everything is in divine timing, and divine timing is divine for a reason. So in the meantime, instead of becoming miserable because you are waiting something, just enjoy yourself. Fill your own cup. Let the universe fill your cup for you. Fill it for yourself by going, doing things you enjoy, meeting people. And don't worry about getting there, because you will get there. This is your 10 of Wands. The 10, or the one you which we're in right now, numerologically, is going to give you your King of Cups. Okay. Well, this is my first ever filmed reading. Hope it resonated with you. If it did, Ten of Cups. If it did, follow me or don't. Doesn't really matter.